Everyone has been talking about Busch Gardens Tampa's Iron Gwazi and Islands of Adventure's Velocicoaster, and for good reason. Iron Gwazi is the latest RMC hybrid, and it was the POV heard around the coaster enthusiast community. Everyone has seen it by this point. The coaster looks like it has some incredible pacing, and it looks like the American Zadra. Meanwhile, Velocicoaster looks like an insane Intamin launch coaster, with some great transitions, and everyone got more and more excited as we saw the elements being built up over the course of 2020. I think everyone agrees these two coasters will be truly world class when they open next year, and they probably will be the two best coasters in Florida. But what about the three other launch coasters coming to Florida that no one is talking about? In this video, I'm going to talk about why we should also be excited for SeaWorld Orlando's Icebreaker, Magic Kingdom's Tron Lightcycle Coaster, and Epcot's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Let's start with Icebreaker, the coaster that has been confirmed to open in 2021. Icebreaker originally was supposed to open for 2020, but it was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When I visited SeaWorld in June, I believe a majority, if not all the track work, had been completed. But construction had been halted since the decision was made to postpone a coaster for a year. This Premier Rides launch coaster has modest stats. It has a max speed of 52 miles per hour, or 84 kilometers per hour, a max height of 93 feet or 28 meters, and a total track length of 1,900 feet or 579 meters. But this coaster has two things that seem to make it stand out. One, a quadruple swing launch, and more importantly, over a dozen airtime moments. Really, the big question is how much airtime the Bunny Hills and launch sequence will provide in this coaster. That will ultimately determine if Icebreaker is just a well above average family coaster or a sneaky underrated airtime machine. I believe the hills in the launch sequence will offer weaker airtime because of how drawn out they are. But you seem to take the Bunny Hills on the main section of the coaster very quickly. Combined with the small size of those hills, and these elements could offer some serious airtime. Plus, there's that crazy looking sideways S-hill on the return run that looks like Premier Rides' take on an RMC twist and shout. So I'm hoping it gives some strong sideways airtime like the High 5 and West Coast Racers. We know Premier Rides' newer coasters are really smooth, and I expect Icebreaker to be no different. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far in the thrill scale this ride goes. Moving on to Tron Lightcycle Power Run at the Magic Kingdom, this coaster was originally supposed to open in 2021 for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it is widely believed the ride's opening will be delayed a year. The latest rumor I heard was that Disney is trying to weather seal the building, and then construction will resume in late 2021. When I last visited Disney in January of 2020, much of the ride's track appeared to be in place from what I could see from the monorail going into Magic Kingdom. What needed to be added were the special touches that make Shanghai Disneyland's Tron coaster so special: the ornate building and the elaborate lighting effects. Themed to Tron's movie franchise, this is a Vekoma motorbike coaster. And you may be familiar with Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure at Universal's Islands of Adventure that opened in 2019. But Tron's seating arrangement has two advantages over that ride. One, the motorbike seating is offered to all guests. So you don't have the arguments like you do on Hagrid's between guests who get the motorbike and the sidecar. Second, the motorbike seating is more similar to a motorcycle on Tron, as riders are pinned forwards, whereas on Hagrid's it feels more like an ATV or a raised roller coaster seat rather than a true motorcycle. If you've been on Flight of Passage, you're going to be riding in a similar position on Tron. Assuming this is an exact clone of the Shanghai version, Tron will blast riders from 0 to 59 miles per hour or 0 to 95 kilometers per hour right into the grid. The coaster will then zoom around a brief outdoor portion, reaching a max height of 78 feet or 24 meters, before going back indoors to complete the rest of the course, and this ride has 3,169 feet of track or 966 meters of track, so it's a fairly long ride. The indoor section consists of several turns and helixes, but they're augmented by the contrast of darkness and futuristic lights, plus a wonderful onboard soundtrack. Those who have ridden Shanghai Disneyland's Tron, which opened in 2016, have claimed it may quite possibly be Disney's best coaster ever because of the exciting ride system and dazzling visuals. Last but not least, there's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which is coming to Epcot. And this is arguably the coaster we know the least about. This will be Epcot's first ever roller coaster, and it will give the park another much needed thrill ride. But like Tron, this coaster's opening date is a bit unclear. It was widely expected to open in 2021 as well, also for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. But it's another ride that may be postponed until 2022. And this would tie in with the release date that's currently expected to be for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The third installment in the popular Marvel film franchise is expected to start filming in late 2021. And it's widely expected that Cosmic Rewind will include some scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy cast. And that would make sense since I've heard estimates that this coaster cost upwards of $400 to $500 million, which would shatter the record for the most expensive coaster ever, which I currently believe is held by Hagrid's at $300 million. So it would make sense for Disney to film both the movie and ride scenes simultaneously. Now, what do we know about this coaster besides the theme to the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, the ride's queue, station, and first scene will take place in the old Universe of Energy Pavilion. Riders will then be blasted backwards into a second building, and this setup is sort of similar to what you see on Rock 'n' Roller Coaster. Rock 'n' Roller Coaster starts riders in the station area, but then you're sent into a bigger building that you can't see from the park's midways. The rest of Guardians of the Galaxy appears to be a twisted mess of track from the latest construction image shared by Disney. But what will make this coaster special is the ride system. Guardians is using a prototype spinning coaster system from Vekoma that can control the direction riders face for the duration of the ride. Disney could either do this to add some thrills with a backwards or sideways segment, which they're doing with the launch, or more likely, they will position you exactly how they want to tell their story in the most optimal manner. If this sounds familiar, I expect it will work in a similar manner to Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios Florida, where your cars will rotate to face specific show scenes. Except this ride seems to rely on the coaster system more than Gringotts. Florida's already impressive lineup is being bolstered at an unprecedented rate in the next few years. While the two headliners will undoubtedly be Iron Gwazi and Velocicoaster for the thrill seekers, we cannot sleep on Icebreaker, Tron, and Guardians. While these coasters will likely be geared more towards families, each ride should offer more than enough thrills and a complete enough ride experience to stand out on their own. What are your thoughts on these coasters? Are you excited for these coasters like me? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you gave it a like and considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.